I love fantasy. I love it almost to a fault. I love magic and mages, knights in shining armor, and, of course, dragons. This world of fiction has always fascinated me. It's a world so unlike our own and one full of impossibilities. It's a world that I would love to live in, to meet those knights in shining armor, ride that dragon, and practice that magic. This is what drew me to the world of MMOs, a place where you can explore these worlds. Not really in a static state like many single-player games or books, but alongside real people, others also here to adventure in this fantastical world. About a year ago, I ventured into the world of Azeroth, one of the biggest of these worlds. Official Hardcore had just come out on WoW Classic and it sounded very exciting, almost like Sword Art Online, where if you died in the game, you died in real life. Okay, maybe not that drastic, but losing your character made the experience that much more worth it. However, I didn't just play normal hardcore. I decided to take the immersion up a notch, and I played it in first person. At first it was just a fun gimmick in order to get YouTube views, but as I continued to play, I actually became attached to the different ways of playing. I would encourage you to do the same. It's an unforgettable experience. Did you know that WoW actually has features that support first person? If you go into settings, you can turn on head bob, which gives the camera movement a more natural effect. Also, spatial audio is a thing. I remember when I played my first Dark Elf Hunter. When I eventually got the spider pet while questing, the audio made it sound like it was literally crawling up my back.
I have a monster. I have a pet. Oh my gosh, I can hear him crawling and it's freaking me out. Oh my gosh, the sound of the crawling right behind me. Oh, I don't think I can handle this.
Unsurprisingly, I very quickly got rid of it and swore off spider pets forever. Of course, playing in first person isn't without its challenges, especially if you're playing hardcore. First off, you can't see behind you. I always had my ears perked to the absolute maximum to hear if I was getting attacked from a different direction. Fortunately, even in first person, you can look around you while fighting, so I was always checking over my shoulder. Another problem is mages. While casting Frostbolt in first person is an awesome experience, what about targeted spells? The available casting area is so much more limited, or area of effect spells, also known as AoE. So many times I had to run into the midst of enemies to cast an AoE spell, and then immediately scramble back in order to see if my spell even worked. You aren't able to see your arms when doing melee attacks, which is a bit disorienting. Also, probably my biggest nemesis in the game is the grass. The grass in Crossroads is at eye level, meaning to see anything at all that's not the size of an elephant, you'd have to jump. Honestly, to all of these, I feel like they add to the experience more than take away from it. Put yourselves in the shoes of your character. You're out there hunting kobolds. You need to keep all your senses on edge to make sure you're not ambushed in the dark. You'd be constantly checking over your shoulder, watching for someone to come around the corner unexpectedly. If you were a spellcaster, unless you cast a spell to have your eyes floating 6 feet above you, you're gonna struggle to cast targeted spells anywhere except where you can see. If you want to cast over a large area or do combat in tall grass, you'd need to find a vantage point where you can see more, or, not to sound like a broken record, jump. Things like this make exploring these vast continents a whole nother perspective. There's a whole host of other experiences that playing in first person gives you. When you accept quests, you're actually looking in the eye of the quest giver. When you come across massive structures or monsters, you get a true appreciation for the size of things. I remember I was playing retail World of Warcraft in first person, and the first time I saw the Fell Reaver, I just kept looking up, and up, and up. In case you didn't know, that thing is big. Or exploring Ironforge, exploring the inside of a massive mountain with a ceiling that is so high and the forge that is so wide. It was such an experience. Coming from the default third-person perspective, I can see how the first person can feel claustrophobic. However, don't knock it till you try it. After a couple hours of adjusting, you won't even notice. In fact, it got to the point when I was playing that eventually when I tried to play in third person, it felt jarring, like I was having an out-of-body experience and was getting ripped out of the immersion of the world. I had to slowly wean myself off of it in order to play normally, which I kinda regret. I switch between them when I play now. I play in first person when I want to be immersed, then play in third person for convenience's sake. Now, my first person challenge only took me to about level 25 before I died in hardcore and got distracted by another game. but I still go back every once in a while to once again immerse myself in the world of Azeroth through the eyes of my character. But I'm very curious what it's like past that point. What experiences did I miss out on that seeing from a first-person perspective would amaze me? What would dungeons be like in first person? Or even raids? Imagine fighting a raid boss in first person. I'm sure that would be terrifying. The first-person experience is one I am so glad I had, and it provided me an opportunity to experience a game in a way that maximized the enjoyment for me. Honestly, if anyone tells me they're going to try World of Warcraft, or even if talking with a veteran about it, I'm going to encourage them to give first person a try. I don't think you'll regret it. At least give it a good honest try, and if you like it, let me know. I'd also love to hear any other ideas on how I could improve my immersion experience. Call me dumb or call me crazy, but at the end of the day, gaming is about creating your own story. So go ahead, play it your way and make it unforgettable.